Hello, image design students. This is Mrs. Brown, and in this video recording, we will be working on the Unit 10 graded assignment where you will learn about masking images. So the first thing you're going to want to do is open up GIMP. And once you have GIMP open, you're going to open any image from your Unit 10 folder. So we're going to click File Open. You're going to go wherever you have your resources saved on your computer, desktop, documents, wherever you have it. Open up your course resource files, go to the Unit 10 folder, and then select any image from this folder. Now, I would suggest to start to choose either image 2, 3, 4, or 5, and maybe save the butterfly for your second image. It is a little bit trickier. I'm going to go ahead and start with image 3 here. Actually, I take that back. I'm going to go with image 5. Okay. So once you have your image open, we're going to go ahead and save this project in your Unit 10 folder as mask. Okay, so in Unit 10, you're learning how to create a mask on an image. So if you think about a mask as a layer that lets you kind of hide or reveal parts of the layer. So say you're putting a mask on your face, what would you be hiding? What would you let be seen through the mask? That's what you're doing. Think about filters that you might have on your cell phone where you kind of you can blur part of the background, but then another part stays clear. That's kind of a good idea to help you kind of wrap your head around what a mask is. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to duplicate a layer. So in the top dock, in the layers list right here, we're going to double click this image and we're going to type bottom image. Now, in our layer menu, we're going to click duplicate layer, and it's going to simply just duplicate our layer here. Now in our bottom image copy, we're going to double click and we're going to rename this mask. So you should have two layers, your mask layer and your bottom image layer. Now in the bottom image layer, I want you to click the eye icon next to it to hide it. And then go ahead and select your mask layer. Now, go ahead and click File Save just to save what you have kind of begun there. In your toolbox, I want you to click the Fuzzy Select tool. If you hover over, you'll see what the Fuzzy Select tool looks like. Now, down below in your tool options, we're going to make some changes here. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to click the Add to Current Selection button right here, those double red boxes. And in the threshold, we're going to move this up to 25 as a good starting point. Later, you can kind of experiment with higher and lower thresholds. The higher the number, the more it will select of the image. The lower the number, the less it will select. We're also going to click Feather Edges and then move this radius field to 14. What this does is it kind of blurs the edges, making them less sharp. Now in the image window, what we're going to do here is click and drag over the part of the image we want to turn into a mask. So whatever we select is the part that's going to kind of peekaboo through our mask or blur. So what part do you want to be seen is the question you can ask yourself. Now on our image, we're going to kind of click and drag the part of the image that we want to select. So I'm going to work with this blue ball here. And you can see that my selection is kind of like a moon shape, so I'm going to continue selecting until I have and sometimes it gets tricky. And we'll grab more down here, so you can simply click Edit Undo. I'm going to try one more time. This shaded area, it might not kind of let me perfectly get. There we go, that's pretty good. And I'm going to just be happy with this here. So now we're going to hide part of this image. So we're going to add a layer mask. So in the layer menu, you're going to click Mask and then Add Layer Mask. Now in this dialog box, under Initialize Layer Mask to, you're going to select Selection, and then you're going to click Add. Everything but the selection, so everything but my blue ball that I selected, is going to disappear. Very nice. Now, over here in our layers list, if you hold the Control key while you click the layer mask thumbnail, so this is the layer mask thumbnail, hold the Control key down on your keyboard and then click it, everything will reappear. If you hold it again, it can enable it, etc. Now click the you want it to be enabled, so you want to have this kind of background gone. Now next to the bottom image, we're going to click the empty box to click the eye icon, and everything kind of reappears. We're now going to click the select menu and then none to get rid of our selection there. Now you'll see in our mask that we still have what we selected right there. Now the last step is we're going to create a blur effect on the background. We're going to blur the background. So all of this black area in this layer mask here is going to be blurred. The white section is going to remain clean. So we're going to, in the layers list, we're going to click the bottom image layer. Make sure you have this bottom image layer selected. And in the filters menu, we're going to click blur and then Gaussian blur. Down here I have my dialog box I need to bring up. Here, make sure that you have your lock proportions button selected. You'll see why here in a second, but you want those to be linked up. That's because we're going to use these horizontal and vertical arrows to create our blur, and we want them to move together. We're simply just going to click these horizontal and vertical buttons, which doesn't really make a difference because they're chained, to make slight changes. You'll see if you go drastically that it will really blur the background. So you're going to just choose a number that you're happy with, looking at the preview as you go. If you want to move this around, you can. I want it just to be slightly blurred. I don't want a super intense blur, and I'm going to stick with around 12. Whatever you want is happy. Whatever you want and you're happy with is fine. Once you're happy with it, go ahead and click OK, and you'll notice that the background was blurred and only the part that I selected remained visible. If you want to try a different blur effect, you can. You just simply click Edit Undo to get rid of the Gaussian blur. Filters, you go down to blur, and you can play around with the different types of blurs here and find one that you like. And that is the last step of the project. So we'd go ahead and click File, Save, and you are done with the first mask. So you're really halfway done with the project. This image is 100% done, but you're only halfway done with the project. Remember, for every project, you're going to create 2 images. So to get started on your second image, you'd click File, Open, choose a different image, and you'd repeat everything we did to this first blur masked image. To create a second image, you would simply file save as, type mask 2, repeat the video in its entirety until you have created a mask and a blurred background, and then you would be done. When you are all done, you can go ahead and open up your File Explorer, navigate to your image design folder, your course resource files, go to your Unit 10 folder, make sure you have both of your masks, the GIMP files here, and you do, so you then right click, send to compressed zipped folder. You can then come back to the image design class and go to the Unit 10 project folder. You can look through the grading rubric for image 1 and then for image 2. Make sure you have all steps. You'll add a file. Once it is 100% loaded, go ahead and add, and then you will click submit. I am not going to click submit. I don't want to grade my own work, and you will be done with the Unit 10 project. If you have any questions or need any help, please let me know. Sign up for a one-on-one. Good luck, and I look forward to seeing your projects.